Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
Did you hear that you and Olympic divers have something in common?
What?
You are both afraid of things that come in from the above. Both of you.
Well, maybe.
It's true. You even told me
I'm terrified
about
of
this.
things from above.
But then you told me about this Olympic divers and why they're terrified of things from above. So why don't you tell them why the Olympic divers are terrified?
Citing the distraction of large raptorial birds with wingspans of up to 5 feet.
5 feet?
Multiple Olympic divers told reporters Wednesday they struggle to complete their events after being tormented by a family of black kite hawks that was nesting on an adjacent platform.
That would be intimidating.
My God, someone make the screeching stop. It's horrifying, said Team USA diver Katrina Young, who described how the birds of prey kept circling the pool during the women's 10-meter platform preliminaries, waiting for their chance to swoop down and start pecking at the athletes whenever they surfaced.
Good point.
I can't even complete my approach without getting slashed by a talon, let alone focus enough to pull off a reverse 3.5 somersault tuck. These poor animals probably think we're trying to steal their eggs or something. But for fuck's sakes, I've trained my whole life for this.
For fuck's sake, I like that part.
Now the platform's covered in blood, and the pool is turning a deeper, darker red. So much darkness, and so much blood, and nothing can ever wash it away.
Why not?
At press time, witnesses confirmed a hawk had snatched up one of the Australian divers.
What?
And flown away with her.
Oh, God. Is she okay?
That's the end of the article.
So we don't know if she's okay or not?
No, we don't know.
I do not like articles that end that way. Are you sure there's not more?
I'm positive.
Is there a read more button?
No.
Is there like a scroll down that appears when you scroll down?
No, sir. It goes straight into ads.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well.
So let's talk about this, though. How do you feel about what happened there?
Horrified. I'm so scared of birds. And 5-foot wingspan, that's enough to carry away all of the animals that live in our house.
It's a dinosaur,
including me.
bro. It's a dinosaur.
It's basically a pterodactyl.
First of all, it's all fiction. I mean,
well, the Onion.
There's no way that's real.
It's from the Onion.
Well, still. Lots of people don't know what the Onion is, so go peel it back. You'll find out. But, like, it's just nuts how they make it sound like it's deadly serious.
But at the same time, when they use the word fuck, it's not serious.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's why I laughed when it was for fuck's sake. I'm like, that's so funny. There would be no Olympic athlete ever that would survive that.
Do you know how much more entertaining the news would be if somebody wrote it in the same manner that they write the Onion? Like, they're talking about clearing out the homeless encampment in L.A., and if they got, like, real in-depth describing one of the homeless people, like, all crazy-like, do you know how much more entertaining the news would be?
Well, yeah, you'd want to listen, Like, I always laugh when I hear, like, brief snippets of the news.
And they talk to you in a complete monotone.
And then they talk to you in a monotone, but then they tell you about how you can get the whole and complete news later in a podcast. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to the 15 seconds I had to listen to in order to find out you had the podcast.
No. I think news reporters, they try so hard to have zero emotion because they're reporting the news and they're technically supposed to be unbiased, though none of them are
Correct.
Actually unbiased.
Correct.
That they end up sounding like a bunch of spineless
No, you're right.
maggots, I guess.
That's a great observation.
They have no spine and they have no opinion and they're nothing useful.
That's a great observation. because you're basically, well, you just figured out the way things work. I mean, like, you just figured it out. That's all.
I think if people read the news, like I just read that article about hawks, you would be fucking riveted. You would be so in to whatever they were talking about. If CNN read their anti-Donald Trump rhetoric with that kind of conviction, they would convince people.
Yeah. And you know what, though? People have tried many things to get attention on the news. They had like that naked news network, and they were freaking delivering the news buck naked. Serious monotone face.
Adding a little conviction in their voice? Adding a little conviction in their voice would have meant more than news.
Well, I was going to say, it proves it, because even 9s and 10s, buck naked, didn't attract people to watch the news. Because they talked to us like this, just like a robot would talk, because that was how they were taught to talk in communication school.
If you read it like you're reading a play, put the drama in the correct spots, into it. Give it some emotion, give it some feeling. Talk about the 5-foot wingspan of these giant athlete-munching hawks. Like, word things athlete like you have a personality, you lemming.
Well, exactly. You know, you have to inject your own personality. You have to be a storyteller. You know, you have to be able to take the news and storytell it, because that's how it becomes more interesting. I mean, let's be real, dude. We call it marketing. They call it storytelling, the news. I mean, it's all the same shit.
There's a couple of shows in Canada that parody the news. One of them, This Hour, has 22 minutes.
That would
and the other one is called The Royal Canadian Air Farce. And if you watch them in a timely manner, they're a weekly summary of the news of the previous week. However, they make crazy fun of all the idiots, and they read it in a way that's entertaining. So you get your full dose of the last week's news, you're up on the what's going on that's important, and you've chuckled for 22 minutes.
Yeah. But see, again, another way of trying to get you to pay attention to the news.
Also on New Year's Eve, the Royal Canadian Air Farce takes a cannon and they put people's faces in front of the cannon who deserve something bad to happen to them. God. The most recent example is that I remember, they put up a picture of Justin Trudeau, and this was right after he did some pipeline cancellation thing, and they sprayed him with oil and a bunch of other shit, but oil.
That's cray, babe.
Hilarious.
I don't know. I was sitting here thinking about it, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of sad to me that people have to be bribed with something else. A naked woman, food, a membership to something, in order to pay attention to the news. It's sad.
It's not entertaining.
But the news is not supposed to be entertaining. The news is supposed to be informative.
It's not.
And you're supposed to be interested because it's informative. But who cares if it holds your attention? You're supposed to give it.
But who cares about what's on the news? Most of it's dog shit anyway.
So you're going to tell me that in every class you took, you paid absolute perfect attention because every single one of them was equally as important?
I paid attention when it was important or when it was interesting. One or the other.
Okay. At least you're half consistent.
And if you take it and you make it always interesting, then I'm definitely going to catch the important parts.
I see. And how do you suggest making it always interesting?
I don't know. Like we just said, maybe put a little frickin' emotion into it. Add some personality. Even if I don't like your personality, if you're showing it aggressively, I'm entertained.
I'm at a loss here of what you're talking about.
We're talking about the news, dummy.
Yes, I understand that. But I asked you something about me, and you went off and talked about the news. I'm not the news.
You didn't ask me anything about you. What did you think you asked me? Do you even remember? No.
Oh, I remember.
Then tell me what you think you asked me about.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
Okay, then.
Because it's irrelevant.
Alrighty.
We have a dead animal on the ground. Her name is Bree. She's fast asleep. She had a rough, tough, and tumble day. Running at the park. Then she went for like 3 or 4 walks. One of which was a long, long walk. Half hour at least.
Yes. She had such a hard day.
So she got some good exercise, that girl.
And walking.
She slept mostly with Mitch. You know, he was tired too. He's been running a lot of miles. They're trying to get to like 60, 70 miles in a week. That's a lot of miles, man. That's a lot of miles. So I don't know. What I asked you was, what can I do better than what they're doing?
You already do better than they're doing.
But what can I do better? Even better than what I'm already doing better?
Add more personality.
Add more personality to what?
Whatever the fuck you're trying to do that you think needs to be better than the news? Like, what are you even talking about? We were having a
conversation, and in the conversation, we veered off into us, our relationship.
No, we were talking about the news. We never talked about our relationship at all.
Yes, we did. And then we talked about the news. And you told me what you liked and disliked about the news. So then I asked you, what of the things that they do could I do better?
So you're telling me you're having a completely different conversation inside of your head than we're having out loud?
No, I'm telling you that's the conversation we had out loud.
Well, then I'm a fucking idiot and don't remember any of it.
Doesn't make you an idiot.
That's it. I'm done. I'm out. Clearly, I've lost it if you insist that happened.
Well, it's kind of cool that you chose to have it during one of our nightly rant episodes to have this kind of mental breakdown. That's kind of cool.
What mental breakdown?
You just said you've had it.
With this conversation.
You've gone crazy. You literally said you had gone crazy.
Whatever.
Why did you say you went crazy if you didn't go crazy? Don't say you went crazy because you're not crazy. You're not. You're not crazy.
Uh-huh.
You're stubborn.
Uh-huh, sure.
But then so am I. I'm stubborn as well. I think I'm more stubborn.
Even Bree is sick of your shit.
No, Bree just knows she can't come up here and get in the way.
Sick of your shit.
So she went and hid. She didn't even choose to lay on your lap, which you love, but they're going to miss you when you are gone.
I'm not going anywhere, so what are you talking about?
My mistake.
Or you could have just told people what you're talking about.
Anyway, we are now being inundated with things that are furry. I saw one right there, but then I saw one to my left. Yeah, left. Over here, and I don't know who it was. It could have been Pretty Girl, or it could have been Olive. They were darker. So it's not. They were darker, so it's definitely not Parker.
Yep,
that
he's
rhymed.
pretty white.
Did you see that? That rhymed. They were darker, so they definitely were not Parker. Yeah, Parker's white and what? Kind of tan, huh? White and tan?
Yeah.
Well, because if he's orange, Bree is orange. Come on.
Bree is orange. Parker is not.
Bree's red. Red is the pure driven snow.
No, she's orange. Nice
After
try.
a bloody mass murder. Yes, I took it there. Made it dark. Now let's brighten it up. I want to know, before we go, what has been your favorite memory of 2021 so far? And I mean, don't say it's sucked the whole year, because there still has to be a favorite memory out of all of that. Something that was particularly touched you. So what would it be?
The only thing that I can think of 2021 that wasn't absolute fucking trash was our trip to Vegas. So I guess that wins by definition of not being absolute fucking trash.
You know, I have to say I agree with you about the trip to Vegas. I really do. But I actually feel that what's more it's a bigger memory than that. I think that it's what happened on the build up to the trip, the things that changed amongst us, and then what we maintained after the trip is what's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the amazing part. Anyone can go away on vacation and have like this really lovey-dovey time and, be connected. But to get it before you go, build it while you're there, and then when you come back, keep it at a high level it's why I always say we make a great team. You and me and you. And that's what I have to say about what you had to say about your favorite memory. I think, and I agree with you on the favorite memory.
Okie dokie.
I do, 100%. It was by far the best time we've had together, at least in 2 years. I mean, I think the time we had in Denver together was right up there. Don't you?
Yeah, Denver was fun. Our Airbnb was less comfortable, but
It was still cute, though.
It was cute. It was just the bed was hard and unpleasant.
It was cozy.
It was about the same size, wasn't it?
A little tiny bit bigger than the one we had in
tiny
Vegas.
Airbnbs.
Yeah, it was cute, though. And we had a good time in Denver. We really did.
Yep.
I did things to surprise you. You did things to surprise me. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know?
We have a good time when we go on trips together.
And I think, well, I mean, like this last time, we just like totally veered off into a different direction, you know, than where we really planned. But neither one of us stressed out about it. We just went with it.
Right.
It's just, that's a rarity. Because most times people do that, or when people do that, it's because they want to keep the peace. It's not really what they want. They're just going to, I'll go with it. But we actually go in that direction together.
There are things I definitely wanted to do while we were in Vegas. Go to that carved prime rib place was one of them.
We did.
Which we did. And I can't remember what the other one was.
We wanted to go to the buffet at the Cosmo.
Yeah, but we let that go real easy.
Whatever
but it wasn't.
was called.
That was disappointing.
Wasn't worth an hour and 20 minute wait. Hell no.
You're right. That is the second thing we wanted to do, and we went and quote unquote did. But we didn't want to wait an hour and 20 minutes, so we didn't actually do it.
Right.
But everything else, we just kind of played it by ear and did whatever.
It's in progress.
I think visiting Griff's was on our to-do list too, because I remember saying I wanted to go somewhere.
Yeah, we picked between two, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we should have picked the mob one, because then we've had a mob-themed Vegas trip.
Well, that was really cool to go to the mob museum. I liked that. That was...
Yeah, we could have gone to the mob museum, and then we could have gone to the mob bar that was on Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
Now we'll have to go to the mob bar next time.
Yeah, it would be fun. So, anyway, that's where I stand on your favorite memory in 2021 so far. Now I just have to top it. It's my goal. Make a better memory.
Best of luck to you.
I know it's not going to be easy, but you know what? I could at least match it. That I could do. I know I could do that. And I wouldn't be complaining if we had another weekend that was that nice.
Seems feasible.
No.
Got to start it out with Monster Jam. Then, that was maybe the best.
And then a little while after that, we'll take the furry beasts with us for a really short trip. It's overnight. That's what I would do, is go, come in afternoon, do a few things with the doggies, spend the night, do a few more things, leave there around noon and head home. You know?
Seems reasonable.
Because you can't restaurant and stuff like that when you have doggies.
Yeah, I know you have to go to places that have dog-friendly patios.
Yeah.
Which there are a lot of in Vegas.
There are a lot of them. You're not wrong.
And because it's the year 2021, dog-friendly patio is one of the things you can search by on Yelp.
How wild.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yep.
I like to hear stuff like that. Well, anyway.
Now we're going to go veg on our dog-friendly patio, since Bree is asleep already. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.